in the prior episode.
And his name might actually be Carl L. for Karl Lagerfeld. That would explain all the sexism.
And this is next.
Right in her face. We're back. And we're watching him work. We're going to sit here and let a man do all the work? I think not. Last I remember, we were on the chase to get Nessa and Corvus, whom we believe are in this mine, out. And they are, they abducted Evan to try and get his diamonds. But on the way here, we discovered dynamite and blasting caps. About dynamite.
Dynamite can seem pretty scary, but unless you're extremely incautious, it's unlikely it would explode on its own. Blasting caps are needed to set off dynamite. Have to stick them right in the end. Not to mention, a charge from a plunger detonator needs to be sent to the cap through a detonating cord. That being said, I wouldn't be all that comfortable walking around with a stick of dynamite in my pocket.
Ha! Right! Put dynamite in rubble. Rig explosive to dynamite? L plunger. How do we do this? How does the game want me to set this plunger up? I think Jack just explained it, but plunger detonator has been weathered by the elements and looks very warm, but it might still work. There's only one way to find out. Attach plunger to blasting caps? Oh. What is it? Ask Jack about dynamite. What do you want now? Have to stick him right in the end. Charge from a plunger detonator needs to be sent through the cap to the cap through a detonating cord. Can I move to place dynamite? Put dynamite down. Dynamite in rubble. Okay, all right. Explosive hasn't been rigged properly yet. Rig cap to dynamite. Put blasting cap on dynamite. That achieves little effect. Really? L spool. The reel of wire still looks pretty good considering it's been outside for years. Attach wire to dynamite. You don't have the get reel. I just take it? That thing's huge! I wonder if I figure out a fast way to clear this rubble. The developer of this game assumes no responsibility or liability for any errors or omissions in any processes depicted, particularly dangerous ones involving explosives. Do not attempt anything in this game in real life. Yeah, that's an appropriate time to say that, I guess. Okay, so now we have the wire. Attach wire to dynamite. Oh, I need to insert a blasting cap into the dynamite and then a wire into the blasting cap. I never thought dead experiences dynamite. Why am I reading this like shit? I need to insert the blasting cap into the dynamite and then the wire in the blasting cap. That's exactly how I said it. I never thought Dad's experiences as a dynamiter on construction crews would come in handy. Okay, just gotta be patient. We're almost to the end. Insert blasting cap in dynamite. You carefully insert the blasting cap into the dynamite. Insert, nope. Attach wire to dynamite. I can't just insert the wire into the dynamite. It won't explode. I need to insert a blasting cap and then the wire into the blasting cap. Oh, for fuck's sake. Attach, insert wire to blasting cap. Tell Jack to fucking move. Talk to Jack. Tend to go this level and not break this whole shovel while I do it. If you can figure out a better way, I'm all ears. Otherwise, come help me dig. Attach dynamite to wire. Lays dynamite. Put dynamite in rubble. The explosive have rig dynamite to plunger. Oh my god, do I have to get the plunger? I do. I just take that and put that up into my legs. Got it. Wonder if I can figure out a fast way to clear this rubble. Attach plunger to dynamite. Attach wire to plunger. Need to cut the wire from the reel before I can insert it into the plunger. Oh my god. Cut reel from wire. I'm all set. I just need to cut the wire from the reel and insert the cut end into the plunger detonator. I don't have any wire cutters right now, and I don't see any here. I wonder if I could get a pair of wire cutters. I'm so close. Ask Jack about wire cutters. Would you happen to have any wire cutters, Jack? I do, actually. Thank God. Perfect. May I borrow those?
Sure thing. Here you go, Nancy. Wire cutters.
Thank goodness. Thanks. I wonder if there's like a case where if you miss the blasting caps or whatever, he's like, I do have blasting caps. Cut wire. Using the wire cutters, you snip the wire from the reel. Attach wire to plunger. Insert the wire in the plunger detonator. The explosive is rigged. It's time to set it off. Game has autosave. Thank God. I was about to set it. Use dynamite on rubble. Oh, why do I forget about that? Place dynamite at rubble. Jack, I'm ready to set the explosive charge.
Got it, Nancy. Give me a second. Let me just skedaddle. No, thank you. Not interested. Ready.
You carefully place the rigged dynamite close to the rubble. Okay, we're all set. Can I not move plunger? I did save, right? We gotta blow up. Use plunger. Let's see what happens. Push plunger. Right in her face. Okay. Move plunger back to back? I don't know. Yeah. By the way, the achievement I got just said death 47. I have definitely not seen 47 deaths, so I'm gonna have to look up a YouTube video of all the deaths. There's probably so much to discover about this game that I just haven't because I'm one narrow-minded individual. I've taken the plunger and placed it out of harm's way. Fortunately, the wire is long enough. Push plunger. Here goes nothing. That was a bit anticlimactic. Well, it was only one stick of dynamite after all.
Yeah, one stick can only do so much.
Damn. Examine rubble. Upon closer inspection, you conclude that the rocks and rubble are native to this area and are biotite schist. Biotite schist? It's a sweet band name. It's also a type of mica schist. Schist is a type of metamorphic rock. I'm not surprised that there are garnet mines here. This type of schist is known to contain garnets. This will be a nice detail for my mineralogical report. You and Jack managed to create a Nancy-sized hole in the rubble. I think I can squeeze through. You can see an old discarded plunger detonator amongst the debris. Oh, okay. Squeeze through rubble. Go in mine. All right, I can fit through this opening.
Nancy, this is really dangerous. Let's widen this hole some more so I can go too.
Evan's in danger. There's no time to lose. You keep working on the rubble and follow when you can.
Okay, Nancy, you're the boss.
Finally.
You be careful, you hear?
I will. I promise. I'm going in feet. Well, I guess that makes sense.
Wait. Before you go, It's gonna be dark as night in there. Darker even. Take this lantern.
Good call.
Jack lights the lantern and hands it to you. I've got another one. Don't you worry.
What?
Huh, you're not the only one with big pockets.
Oh, right. Pockets. Yeah. My dress has pockets. That's where all those items go.
Good luck, kiddo.
Thanks, Jack.
That's not her voice. Whatever. What's going on with Kimmy? Kimmy's just sleeping, right? She's just like blissfully unaware. You squeeze through the small hole in the rubble and enter the mine. Oh, wow. Seeing the lantern's light reflected brilliantly on the thousands of red crystals embedded in the walls, you're suddenly reminded of why you traveled to Crimson in the first place. If the situation wasn't so dire, you'd be dazzled by this cave of natural wonders. Instead, the red gleams look like blood is beating on every surface, just waiting to fall. You shiver. Toronto feels like it's 1,000,000 kilometers and 1,000,000 years away. Oh dear, it's so dark in here. I need to figure out which way Nessa and Corvus have taken Mr. Richards. If indeed they came this way at all. All right, well. Oh, it's kind of chugging along. I don't know if it's... The flywheels appear to operate the internal mechanisms of the machine. What the heck? You see the rim of a large wheel and some indications of a large piece of heavy machinery. Examine machine. From what you can see in the lantern's light, the machine consists of a hopper, a pair of flywheels, and other bits you can't identify. This looks like a jaw crusher. It would coarsely grind up the garnets, but more processing is required to grind them fine enough to be sold as an industrial abrasive. You can see the discarded rocks of various shapes, sizes, and colors scattered on the floor under the machine. Garnets get fed into the hopper. The flywheels are turned, which activates some kind of grinding mechanism. And the ground up rocks empty out into this bucket, placed underneath. Can I take the shovel? Now that you're inside the mine, there's no need for the shovel. Too bad. I could have used this when helping Jack clear the rubble outside. Well, I mean, you could just clear it from the inside. Okay. Is there something to do with this machine? And then bucket. You look inside the metal bucket. It's 1/3 full of coarsely ground garnet, smaller than gravel, but larger than sand. When industrial abrasives are sold, they're ground finer than this. This is the first stage of grinding. An impact crusher would be used to grind these coarse garnets even finer than this. Okay, well, now I know. Do they go this way? What the fuck? Oh! What? Okay. I mean... Don't go that way, I guess. Is it just guessing, or like... Oh, that's a hole? You slip and fall in this... Okay, well... What the fuck? Okay, so I guess I'm supposed to like go really slowly and just examine everything like I would in a real mine scenario. So examine south? Like what am I supposed to do? Let me just look at the room. You're grateful for the lantern's light. The opening you created into the mine seems to float in the air like a portal to another world. You can see a good deal of the mining machinery that was left behind years ago. The discarded shovel. Sort of crusher, you know, it's a particularly large crystal. Oh, let's look at that crystal. You can see a good-sized red crystal embedded in a large boulder just off the path. Even in the deep darkness of the mine, it glitters brightly in your lantern's light. Stunning! Take it. If you'd like to obtain a sample for suicide, try walking closer to it first. You chip a particularly lovely crystal sample out of the rock. The note has been added to your notebook. The crystal sample you took from the mine's interior is truly spectacular. There are some amazing red and colorless crystal formations. Stunning. Do I have my plate still? Yeah, I can. Smear crystal. You rub crystal on plate. You carefully rub the colorless specimens embedded in the boulder onto the streak plate one by one.
Some of these specimens streak white, which is expected of garnets. But some of these specimens aren't streaking in the plate at all. Oops! While performing your streak test and holding the lantern at the same time, you fumble and your hand slips. You draw the sample forcefully across your porcelain plate, right on the most prominent red crystal specimen. The large red crystal was actually making it awkward for you to streak test colorless specimens. Nothing? No streak? Could these be rubies? But they don't look quite right. These might not be garnets. Fortunately, I'm not carrying anything that I have confirmed as a ruby or harder. Testing this will have to wait. There's something going on here. Okay, save. I don't want to do that again. Oops. So if I go this way, am I going to die? Yes. What? Okay, so... Great. Is this just like a... I mean, is it just like a trial and error, die a million ways until you're not dead anymore? Okay, I guess we go this way. Where am I going? Uh-oh. You aimlessly wander in the mine until the lantern goes out. Oh. Okay, wandering aimlessly seldom ends well. Have a game plan first or some step-by-step directions. Is there like a map of the mine? So if I go this way, do I just die? Yeah, okay. So all the ways are dead. Okay, this is a little annoying, but whatever. What am I supposed to do? Okay. I'm supposed to do something with this machine, right? It's the only thing in here. I don't have a map of the mines. Was I supposed to get a map of the mines from somewhere? Am I fucked? I don't know. There's gotta be something to do. So examine the machine. Feed crystal into hopper. Put crystal in hopper. Okay, well, this is a... Is this like a path? The floor of the mine is covered in countless shoe print impressions that are leading in multiple directions, preserved in a thick layer of dust. Most of these must be made decades ago, but by the miners used to work here. It's an odd feeling to see these shoe prints, almost like looking back into the past. But one of them is going to be Toad size 14 men's dress shoe prints. Impressions made by size 8 women's shoes and size 12 men boots. I recognize this tread pattern from Mr. Richards' others boots. The 3 sets of shoe prints are the freshest after all. Now I need to track these shoe prints and discover where they went next. Whew. So Nessa and Corvus did take Mr. Richards this way. What a relief. So I'm on the right track after all. The question is, where did they go from here? Okay. I mean... So I like follow the shoe prints here. Fresh shoe prints head east deeper into the mine. Nothing but a dusty miner's shoe prints down the southern path. Okay. Gee, I'm glad I was able to track Nessa and Corvus down this path. Hope I can find Mr. Richards before it's too late. Ah, what was that? Despite the terrifying rumbles and shudders surrounding you, you forge onwards. It's happening. Game has auto-saved. Just as you reach this firelit cavern, your lantern goes out. Oh, wow. So we didn't see... Okay. Like, we didn't see the fire light echoing throughout anything. It was just complete... Okay. We just didn't. It's a deep mine. It's a huge mine. Oh, no. The lantern's out of oil. There's no turning back now.
Sign your will, Evan. Sign my fake will, you mean? If you're so smart, why don't you just forge Pa's will? Then you and I've had to come up with this dumb scheme. If you were so smart, you'd know that Pa's lawyer is still alive. He'd pipe up pretty quick if an actual will from his client came out of nowhere. But this is a perfectly suitable backup plan. It's much easier to forge your will. If you do as you're told, I'll let you die quickly. Otherwise, you'll starve to death in the dark, and we'll forge your signature anyway. Nancy's on to you. You won't get away with this. We'll see about that. It'll be her word against ours.
I have to rescue Mr. Richards. My first order of business is to distract Corvus. Let's take a look at the cavern. You've arrived at an open cavernous area in the mine. The pattern descends down to a natural platform. It appears that the cave-ins have been rocking the mine have created some deep chasms. An abundance of rocks of various sizes litter the floor. The rockfall looks fresh too, and there's a lot more of it. One doorway to the north is still clear. Doorways to the north and east are blocked by rocks. It's a very dangerous area. There's a central doorway that leads further back into the mine, as well as a doorway on the right that is completely clogged with rockfall. I mean, there's a lot of rockfall happening. Can I make a rockfall on Corvus's head? That would be great. If you see a large boulder, even taller than you in the shadows nearby, you also see a table, a fire, and a wheelbarrow. Okay. Okay, so maybe we can hide behind that boulder or like push it. Okay, nice. It's a pretty good space to conceal myself should Corvus happen to turn his head. So hide. Let's take a look at the room again. Something about rock. An abundance of rocks of various sizes litter the floor. Oh. And there's a lot more of it. Rockfall, blocked by rocks. A very dangerous area. There's a central doorway that leads further back to the mine, as well as a doorway on the right that is completely clogged with rockfall. Okay. Can I so there's rocks on the ground. Get rock. Can I get one? Okay. Final confrontation. We are near the end. Okay. Throw rock at Corvus. Fuck this guy. They're confident. Aw. Just attempt that. Okay. So throw rock at door. You throw a plain rock down the passage. To make a noise, right? What was that? Someone coming from the middle passage? I thought I heard something too. I'll take a look. Oh. Ah! Oh no! Corvus, what have you done? You oaf! Either Corvus is inaudible behind the pile of rubble or unable to reply. Jesus Christ! I didn't expect that to happen. I just wanted to create a distraction. Oh fuck, I killed a guy! Corvus? Okay. Let's see if I can free Mr. Richards while Nessa's preoccupied. 2 against 1 sounds like better odds. Maybe we can turn the tables on her until Jack replies with help. You better be digging as hard as I am, Corvus. You always mess things up. Nessa continues to paw ineffectually through the rubble while chastising Corvus. Oh boy. Oh fuck. You just don't know when to quit, do you? When I get over here, you'll wish you'd never meddled. Use wire cutters on Jack. Use... What the fuck do you... Cut Jack's rope with wire cutters. What do you mean I can't do that? Take lantern. Stop! Come any closer and I'll throw this lantern over the edge. Okay. You need the light just as much as we do. No one can leave this cavern without it. Jack will be along shortly. It's over, Nessa. You! What a face. Oh my god. You can try getting away, but my dear brother certainly can't. Don't come any closer. Stay where you are. You're trying to tell me what to do? How dare you? Why did you ever set foot in Crimson? Why? If it hadn't been for you. Nessa is so overwrought she can barely speak. Nessa stomps her foot angrily. You're ruining everything. All of my planning, all that I've done, undone by you? You meddlesome slip of a girl. Nessa, be careful. Don't tell me what to do. How dare you? Nessa pulls a knife out of her skirt pocket. You'll never leave here alive. Watch out! I said don't tell me what to do. Oh no. Oh, the whole mine gives a great shudder and part of the floor gives way. Nancy! Nessa clings desperately to the edge of a now yawning chasm which has already swallowed her knife. Ah! Nessa? Oh, hell yeah, look at this art. You and Evan both bumbling around spoiling carefully constructed plans. Nessa! I won't stop until Crimson is a hole in the ground and I'm as wealthy as a sultan. I'm gonna save her. Oh, Nessa, do be quiet for once. Nessa gasps for breath, recovering from her near-death experience. You're stronger than you look. Thanks? Wonder if I could safely secure Nessa. Yeah. Let me do something before I start standing up, or else she might run off. What do I have? What's this? Telegraph tape? Oh, can I tie her up with her own hair? Wait, what's this? Tie Nessa up with... Can I just tie her up? Oh, I don't think I can. Usual. Oh, I don't have anything. She's gonna get away. I'm just gonna move on. So I shouldn't have saved her. I'm not waiting. I'm taking this lantern. I'm leaving. Good. Never come back. Fuck. Fuck. I fucked up. I fucked up. Why did I just, I'm just like, no, this game is really good, you guys. I just am unable to focus at this point. I don't know. Having a difficult time, so apologize for missing a line. I'm just gonna let the story play out. There was something I could have taken back at the lodge. I don't know what. That's okay. You start moving to follow Nessa, but Mr. Richards calls out to you. Let her go, Nancy. Don't leave me here alone. Okay, I won't. Do we just die? Eek, do you think that cave-in got her? Doesn't matter. We're safe for now. Right. You managed to untie Mr. Richards now that you have all the time in the world. Thanks, Nancy. You and Mr. Richards quietly wait in the cavern. You're too spent to think of anything to say. The only light now is the fire, and you have no way to bring it along with you. There isn't anything here to fashion an improvised torch either. All you can do is wait and hope. Sometimes the cavern shakes and quakes, and you wonder if you'll die without even knowing it. Eventually, you hear voices and footfalls. We're in here! Help! Nancy, is that you, Mr. Richards? Ranger Murdoch! Nancy! Oh, Corvus is trapped behind that rubble in the middle passageway. We should probably get him out. Working together, you eventually clear the rubble and free Corvus. He's a bit worse for wear, but only has minor injuries. Ranger Murdoch cuffs Corvus just in case. Did you see Nessa leaving or pinned under rubble? No, not at all. Didn't hear anything either. Oh, she's at large. Could be that she's trapped somewhere in the mine. There's no way of knowing. Or she could have gotten away. I can't think what you'd prefer, actually. Let's get out of here. Good idea. Okay, so we didn't get Nessa. There was something we missed. Sound off in the comments if there was something I missed. I mean, if there was. Whatever it was I missed. Ranger Murdoch leads the way out of the mine. You feel incredibly relieved to be out of the mine. It feels like a great weight has been lifted off your shoulders. The automobile is parked down the hill. And there's more rangers waiting for us at the train station. How did everyone get here so quickly? Well, it wasn't quick, actually. I'm not actually a forest ranger. I'm a member of the Northwest Mounted Police. We've been on the trail of a German spy and saboteur who was rumored to be in this area. We believe he is responsible for the bombing of the bridge west of Crimson. Albert Respa. I mean, Carl L. A man known to us as Carl Leffler. Oh, not Lagerfield. Okay. You revealed him, Nancy? Well done. Not only that, you tipped us off to what his next target would be. The Sioux Locks. Right again! As you know, Canada declared war on Germany a few weeks ago. It appears operatives directed by the German Foreign Office have undertaken a campaign here in Canada to delay a military aid to Europe. By targeting transportation links such as railways, bridges, and canals. We strongly suspect that Carl L., a man we know as Carl Leffler, is one of those operatives. He has been apprehended at the Sioux Locks while setting up explosive charges. And thanks to your impeccable detective work, Mr. Leffler will surely be brought to justice. That's good. Gee, let's go. Okay, well, it seems like a good ending, not a perfect one, since we didn't let Nessa go. She's not going to face justice, so. Got a notification for Chapter 6 complete. Chapter 7, Conclusions. Okay, I have a feeling this is just an epilogue, right? So we'll just power through it. I just want to be done with this game at this point. You guys, I just want to be done. The train station is a flurry of activity. Rangers are milling all around, consulting with each other in whispered conversations. Inside, you can hear the non-stop whir and tick of the telegraph machine. The ranger in charge looks up and acknowledges Ranger Murdoch with a nod. Just the man I wanted to see. Thanks to the intelligence you provided, we were able to alert the authorities in Sault Ste. Marie. Is it Sault Ste. Marie? Sweet Marie? Isn't there a Sufjan Stevens song about that? I think there is. I ought to listen to it. About the impending sabotage attempt on the Sioux Locks. They were ready and waiting and caught the man red-handed with luggage full of dynamite and blasting caps. Not to mention a 9mm Luger in the glove box. Imagine his surprise when they called him by his real name, Carl Leffler, a.k.a. Albert Respa, German spy and saboteur. I would have loved to seen his look on his face. All in all, some mighty fine work, Ranger Murdoch. A crisis has been averted. As much as I'd like to take credit for it, Nancy Maple here is the one you ought to be thanking. She single-handedly figured it out. All I did was pass along the information. Well then, my thanks to you, Nancy Maple. You're a Canadian hero. Oh, thanks. Though I'll warn you, you might have to be an unsung hero at that. I have a feeling the Canadian government won't want to reveal just how vulnerable we were tonight. Could undermine the public's confidence at a crucial turning point for our country. Oh, I don't mind at all, as long as things worked out for the best. They did, Nancy, truly. Thank you for your service. Now, what have you got there? We've just come from an old abandoned garnet mine. Mr. Richards here was kidnapped by his sister, but these folks were able to rescue him. Fortunately, we managed to stop things from going too far, but the sister, Nessa Crab, is missing. We have yet to figure out what the fuck's going on with the diamonds, right? We did arrest her accomplice, Mr. Corvus Shaw. I'm confident we'll apprehend Mrs. Crab. The charges against her are serious. We'll use every resource at our disposal. Roger, a busy night. Yes, indeed. Please dispatch some crime scene investigators to the lodge so we can build a strong case. Roger that. I'm headed back down to Toronto tomorrow. What? Oh, my brain's put Toronto and now into tomorrow. Okay. I need to meet with some higher-ups immediately. The Northwest Mounted Police has commandeered a train back to the city. I've been told you call Toronto home, Miss Maple. Will you join me? I'm exhausted, and I don't think I'm up for more traveling tonight. And I'm not ready to leave Crimson just yet. Suit yourself. I'll need to take your statement for the report, but that can wait a day or two. Thank you. I'll need a bit of time to get my thoughts in order. Of course, there's going to be a ton of paperwork to do for this whole caper. I'll be trapped behind a desk at a couple of weeks. Do send word when you'll be returning. I'll pick you up from Union Station and escort you straight to the police station. Will do. Thanks, Mr. Roger Murdoch. Nathan drives you, Jack, and Evan back to the lodge. Margot's death feels like it happened weeks ago. And your arrival in Crimson feels like it happened months ago. And it feels like years ago when you spoke to your boss, Professor Plummer. Ah, my boss! My fieldwork! What am I going to tell him? Despite the excitement of the evening, you find yourself nodding off, only to be jolted awake when Nathan's automobile hits an uneven stretch of road. Eventually, not even the bumpy road can rouse you. Nancy, you awake? We're back. Once Jack has aroused you from your deep slumber, you make your way upstairs as quietly as possible lest you wake Kimmy. Jesus Christ. My goodness, what a night. I've never been so exhausted. Oh, and it's all in heels. My bunions. You climb into bed and are eager to fall asleep. But as your gaze falls onto the ransacked curio cabinet, you realize there are a few things you may want to bring up with the other inhabitants of the lodge tomorrow morning. I better make some new notes on fresh paper to remind myself, or I could just go to sleep if I wish. Did Margot have an accomplice in the ruby brooch theft? Yes, for sure. Yes, because she was fucking sick. I suspect someone helped Margot hide the ruby brooch effectively. Who was the accomplice for the ruby brooch theft? And it has to have been Jack. I'm quite sure I'm right about that. Jack and Margot were as thick as thieves, literally. Like, there's something going on there. Where was the ruby brooch hidden? Well, I didn't end up finding it, so that's something I'll have to ask Jack about that tomorrow morning. How about that cure cabinet? Who stole the pair of antique silver steins? That was Nessa, wasn't it? No, that was Margot. Margot's fingerprints were the only one I lifted from the smashed curio cabinet. Plus, she admitted to taking the antique silver wedding steins. That's probably pretty clear cut. She mentioned having help. Who helped with the steins? I don't know. I'm guessing Jack again. I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but that's my guess. Okay, well, it wasn't Jack. Who was the imposter of Crimson Ridge? Albert. So I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I don't know who helped her take the steins. Maybe it was Kimmy. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so. That explains why she was examining that glacial erratic. Oh, I had no idea that wouldn't be a good indicator of the geology in the area. Well, I mean, what's Kimmy's goal? She wanted birds, right? After everything I witnessed, I'm pretty certain Kimmy is just a keen bird watcher who probably had the worst vacation of her life. Everything and anything can look suspicious if you're looking for suspicious activity. Were Evan Richards and Nathan Cardinal friends or enemies? They were definitely friends. What? Yeah. The conversation at the conservatory indicates that they are similarly aligned when it comes to the fate of lodge and lands. Oh, I clicked off and the audio stopped. I'm on borderless windowed, so I thought the game froze again. I don't think it's... Has this game crashed? No, I've just gotten stuck. The only bug I found was when I got stuck behind the car. I also met up in the study at their first dinner. It was hard to tell if they were friendly then, but I did see them shake hands. They respect each other. Nathan was out late at night with Jack, and they were both helping Mr. Richards. I heard them talking about that. I recovered a sample of clear crystals from the salt at the lodge that didn't dissolve in water. I'm pretty sure that's what Nathan and Jack were trying to hide. Judging from the conversation I overheard in the carriage house, Nathan, Jack, and Mr. Richards were working together to deal with Albert. Nathan and Albert had a clandestine meeting in the boathouse. Nathan had paid Albert for a mineral report that concluded the lodge and lands didn't contain diamonds. Nathan wasn't concerned about the truth. He wanted to protect Crimson from becoming a mining town again. And Nathan helped me and Jack rescue Mr. Richards tonight. He's a true friend. Mr. Richards is lucky to have him. They were trying to conceal the fucking diamonds, right? I think so. Diamonds. It is possible after all, but so far that is only a hunch based on the samples I've gathered. I'll need to verify my hypothesis when I get back to the museum. I did see Nathan and Jack gathering something shiny from the riverbank, and I suspect this odd salt sample these could be diamonds. I love giving up. Smokehouse. I did recover these clear crystals from the bag of rock salt. If these really are diamonds, the bag of rock salt in the smokehouse would have been the perfect hiding place. Who would guess? No, they weren't having an affair. My gut tells me that they were just friends, but I can't say for sure. I heard them in Margot's boudoir the first night I was at the lodge. It sounded like they were up to something suggestive, but who knows? I prefer to assume the best of people. What item suggests Nessa came to the lodge intending to threaten him or... Oh, almonds. Mr. Richards is allergic to almonds, and Nessa knew that. She brought those Jordan almonds with her and filled that cut crystal bowl in the parlor. Overt as you please. Nessa wasn't being a rude guest. She was a bully. And also a fucking felon. But at least she didn't get away with it. You're exhausted and decided to go to sleep instead of pondering these questions. You wake up the next morning and feeling refreshed and ravenous. As you make your way down to the upstairs hallway, you begin to smell the inviting aromas of coffee and bacon. You enter the kitchen and find the other inhabitants gathered around the table, digging into a hearty breakfast. You join in. Morning light is streaming through the small window, causing motes of dust to sparkle and dance in the light. Mr. Richards is slumped in front of a plate, eyes downcast. Jack, you helped Margot steal Nessa's ruby brooch, didn't you? Well, I didn't help her steal it. I helped her hide it. I think we were all sick of Nessa's shenanigans. How did you know? I just had a hunch. Margot trusted you. She knew you could keep her secrets. Yeah, it was me. I hid the brooch up there in the closet after Nessa and Corvus had ransacked it. After Margot died. Oh. I figured it was the last place they'd check if they ever came back to the lodge to take another look. I would have kept it on me, except we were heading into the mine last night to go find Mr. Richards. Who knows what could have happened? I didn't want to get caught with the brooch and charged with theft. Her secrets. Did you hear us in the boudoir that first night? You flush a bit. Yes, I did. That must have sounded odd, but we were just friends, I swear. Oh, you mean Margot's Salvarsan treatments? That's not supposed to... Whatever. You knew about that? Sure did. Jack helped her with that every night. I couldn't. Too squeamish. The injections were very painful for her. I couldn't stand to do them. Well, that makes me feel better about that. Margot knew Nessa and Corvus. That's just my voice. Margot knew Nessa and Corvus would rummage through her things. Her vanity has a lock, but she suspected that it wasn't secure. In fact, she suspected it had been tampered with already. I kept the brooch in my pocket for a bit, but when we were fixing to head to the garnet mine, I didn't want to bring it with me. So I nipped upstairs to her giant closet and pinned it to the underside of one of her hats, up on one of those mannequin heads. I figured should Nessa and Corvus return to the lodge, the last place they'd look is somewhere they'd already searched. Kimmy, I'm sorry that your birding trip was full of so much drama and tension, but I'm very glad I got to meet you. Thanks so much, Nancy. That's very kind of you. This sucks! Yes, this was one of the strangest trips I've ever taken. So much unpleasantness and tragedy. But I don't regret coming here. Crimson is a beautiful place. Margot is very kind. Jack and Nathan really helped me feel at home here, despite everything. And you, Mr. Richards. Yeah? I can see why you love Crimson so much. I love it too. Oh, that's real nice. Thanks, Kimmy. And Nancy, I'm very glad I got to meet you too. You're one of a kind, brave and clever. No matter what happens, I'm sure you'll make your dreams come true. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I'll try my best. Nathan, I have to know.
Yes?
I was in the boathouse when you had your meeting with with Albert.
You were? What the fuck? You were such a rat. Where?
In one of the canoes, but never mind that. I saw and heard you buy a phony mineralogical report from Albert. I did it! I said the word right! I feel like you and Mr. Richards' best interests in mind. You had Mr. I said mineralogical right, but I couldn't say had right. I messed that one up. But could you please explain that to me?
Of course. I did that because I had Mr. Richards' best interests in mind and mine as well.
What?
What's this all about? I didn't want to trouble you, Evan. Yes, I did pay Albert to write a mineralogical report that stated there were no diamonds on the lands around the lodge. Oh, sorry, I had a bit of gas. That would make the land worthless to Nessa, and she would stop bothering Evan to go home. Start bothering Evan, or stop, what did he say? Oh man, I need to get lunch. Albert seemed to me not who he said he was. I've met mineralogists, but he was no mineralogist.
I had a funny feeling about him too.
He was perfectly willing to prepare the document to say what I wanted for a price. I still have it with Albert's signature and official seal. With Evan's permission, I plan on mailing it to the federal government. We could be free of these troubles once and for all. Yeah, let's do it.
You weren't the only one who paid Albert to prepare a false mineralogical report, Nathan.
What?
After Albert fled the lodge, I found a couple crumpled papers in his wastepaper basket. The papers had writing indentations on them. I darkened them and was able to read what had been written on top of them. I read the report you brought from him, but there was also a version of the report that said that the lodge and the lands actually did contain diamonds. Nessa and Albert met in the gazebo early last night. I clicked off again. I saw Nessa hand him a manila envelope that she'd already paid him for. He said it would make her rich beyond her wildest dreams. I have to know, are there diamonds here in Crimson? Mr. Richards, Nathan, and Jack exchanged meaningful looks. I think you and Jack were picking alluvial diamonds out of the riverbank when I saw the two of you last night. I collected a sample from that area. I think Jack hides the little diamonds in the bag of rock salt behind the smokehouse. I grabbed a handful of salt and dissolved it in water. Some of the crystals didn't dissolve.
Nancy, there are diamonds in Crimson. We have to check the riverbanks regularly for ones that come down the river. Over time, we've managed to extract most of the gems that are in the ground, but soil erosion also reveals them. Every so often, we gotta go looking for more that have appeared. They're the easiest to see by moonlight. Evan used to help us. In fact, he used to do it all by himself. Yeah, but wore my back down. Now it's up to Jack and Nat. Fortunately for us, not many people were around. It was a difficult secret to keep even then. Yeah, until that fish swallowed that whopper of a diamond, and that lucky duck fisherman caught it. Nothing but trouble that was.
My goodness, I see.
Nancy, we know that your fieldwork is very important to you, and we certainly can't prevent you from divulging anything you may have discovered here. We can only ask that you think about what that news could mean for Crimson. We like it how it is now.
I do too.
Me too, and so did Marco.
What'll happen now?
It'll partially depend on you, Nancy.
You all pile into Nathan's automobile except for Mr. Richards. There isn't enough room in the four-seater. You sense he'd like some time alone anyway. He gives you and Kimmy a nod and then turns away. As the automobile trundles away from the lodge, you crane your neck and take one last look. I'm really gonna miss this place, in spite of everything. You turn and face forward. The rattling of the rough road makes it hard to think. The only coherent thought you manage to have is, what will you tell your boss, and what could that mean for your future? Thank goodness the bridge has... Whoa. Every time it's him, I see bald person, I think that's just my voice.
Thank goodness the bridge has been repaired enough to allow trains to come across... I'll target again. Thank goodness the bridge has been repaired enough to allow trains to cross it again.
Repaired enough?
You are traveling light, Nancy. I wouldn't be too concerned. Okay, Nancy, the train's gonna leave soon. Be well.
Oh, but what about you, Kimmy? I've talked it over with Evan, Jack, and Nathan. I think I'll stay on for a bit. It's been so tense here. I want to relax, enjoy the birds and the fall migration is starting in a few weeks, and the leaves will be changing color. I promised Jack that I'll help with the lodge chores. I'll earn my keep. That's wonderful news. I wish I could stay longer too, but I've got to get back to my job in the city. Good luck, Nancy. I'm gonna miss you. I'll miss you too, Kimmy. Be well. I'll miss all of you. Thanks for letting me stay with you. And please thank Mr. Richards too.
We'll let him know. You're made of plenty tough stuff, Nancy. Jack's been telling me how brave you are down in the mine. We're grateful for all you've done here. Goodbye, Nancy. Yeah, bye, Nancy. Now go on. The train's not going to wait forever.
Right. Right. They're all waving in unison. Look at them wave. You stare out the train window. It's a clear, cool morning. As crisp and refreshing as it is this far north, you brace yourself for the muggy summer heat down by Toronto. Your mind is buzzing with all that has transpired over the last few days. It feels like you're returning home from a long voyage. You can't help but wonder, did you miss anything? Did you leave any loose ends? Probably. Would you like to be privy to some helpful introspective thoughts? Yes or no? Note has been added to your notebook. What? Refer to your notebook to review what you've learned during your adventure. Yeah. Okay, what was added? Do I want to ponder some questions to prep for tomorrow? I mean, I'm tempted to say yes because I don't really know. I'm sorry, I've got to think about this. I think yes. I'm not going to go back and discover it, and I don't really... Yes. Ponder the thoughts you've had previous night before bed. If I confronted Jack with hard evidence, I might have gotten a confession. What could have happened to the Silver Steins? Maybe if I'd asked around after Margot's death, folks would feel less protective of her and more talkative. Albert was an imposter, no question about it. He's definitely not an expert. Okay. Yes, the Steins are kind of messing up. I don't really know, though. The glacial erratic boulder was not mineralogically relevant to this region. He had no idea. Was there another detail that I missed? Supporting my theory that he wasn't a relevant mineral. Albert's actions certainly didn't help his mineralogist trade. What about his words? Was there any written proof that he wasn't an expert mineralogist? Pretty sure that was Nathan. Nathan was Mr. Richards' friend, but did I miss any important details of his actions? Did Nathan stand to lose anything by helping Mr. Richards? He wasn't at the dining room meeting with Major Murdoch. I was going to ask Jack about it at the time, but he didn't seem to want me to address that. Maybe if I'd asked Jack about Nathan after that meeting, or even Nathan himself, I'd learn something interesting. Oh well, some of the rock salt didn't definitely rock salt, but what is it? I don't really think Margot and Jack are having an affair, but I wish I was more convinced about that. I unlocked Margot's vanity drawers. Maybe I'll learn more if I take a closer look inside. I have a feeling Corvus's satchel contains important information that I've overlooked. Oh yeah. Area between the jetty and smokehouse probably could use further scrutiny. Never found Nessa's ruby brooch. Wonder if it was hidden in the lodge. Well, she told us. Margot took the Steins. I don't know where the Steins are now. Maybe I should have made some inquiries, particularly after Margot's death, when perhaps people would no longer feel the need to protect her. I can't think of much else, actually. Okay. After Margot's death, Ranger Murdoch could have told him about him. I did, didn't I? How possible poison was obtained. Well, I saw her. I saw Nessa do the poison thing. But so whatever. Well, I saw Nessa do it, or pour out the poison that was used to kill her. I just didn't. Whatever. I think I'll be okay. Either way. Okay, we're back in town. Ranger Murdoch meets you at Union Station as arranged. Ranger Murdoch! Hello, Nancy. It's good to see you again. Would you like me to drive you to home to rest? No, thanks. I'm eager to have my interview. Let's go. Right, follow me. You look over at the wanted posters on the bulletin board and see a familiar face. Face has a familiar features, but the expression gives you pause. If it's unmistakably Margot, but she looks scared and angry, and the name is different too. The Margot you knew was at peace, kind, and caring. You feel fortunate to have met her when you did. The poster lists of her offenses as assault, theft, racketeering, public nuisance. Nancy? Sorry, just lost in thought. Ah, yes. That person has been on the most wanted list for a few years now. Skagway was a near lawless place. Sometimes who the criminals were as a matter of public opinion. And sometimes, if you didn't make friends with the right people, you could get stuck with all sorts of trumped up charges. Does she look familiar to you? No, I don't recognize her. Very well, let's begin. Suddenly, the door bursts open to reveal your boss, Professor Plummer. What the fuck? What was his voice? It's been 2 months. I think, was it old man?
Nancy, there you are. Welcome back. I'd heard the train had come in.
I don't fucking remember his voice. Sir, we're in the middle of a confidential interview.
My apologies, I won't be a moment. Nancy, would you find other diamonds and crimson? I must know. Yes or no?
No. I'm afraid I didn't find anything significant, Professor. I managed to obtain some good samples, though. And I think I'll still be able to produce a good report for my fieldwork. It just won't be very exciting.
I'm sorry to hear it, Nancy. As for exciting, most research isn't. Don't worry too much about that. Come see me when you're ready, and I'll help you with your report.
Thank you so much, Professor Plummer.
Take care, Nancy. See you soon.
That's right, he sounded like that. Okay, that was weird. Now let's really begin. Any information you could provide will be kept strictly confidential, of course. Unless somebody's listening into this massive open doorway. Thank you, I appreciate it. Nessa Crab is wanted in connection with Evan Richards' kidnapping and attempted fraud. According to Mr. Richards, he was assaulted at the jetty, but it was dark out and he was rather inebriated. Do you have any evidence connecting Nessa to the scene at the jetty, yes or no? Yes. Yes, I do. What evidence did you find? If there are multiple points to make, we'll discuss them separately. Only one-word answers will suffice. So if I look in my inventory, do I not have the fingerprints? Fingerprints. I found Nessa's fingerprint on a shattered crystal decanter at the jetty. It was made of thick glass. It wouldn't have broken from being tipped over or dropped from carrying height. I think Nessa had a confrontation with Evan on the jetty, during which she forcibly threw the decanter down, causing it to break. Well done, Nancy. Our investigators found that broken decanter and came to a similar conclusion. Did you find anything in areas besides the jetty that would connect Nessa to Evan's kidnapping? Yes or no? Hair. I recovered these hairs from the woods north of the jetty. I'm pretty confident they belong to Nessa. DNA testing doesn't exist yet, but you hand over the long gray brown hairs over to Ranger Murdoch. Gross, you had hair in your pocket? Investigators didn't find any hairs. I'll send someone over to take another look. The bulbs of these hairs are intact. That means they were indeed needed to be ripped from the scalp with some force. That definitely implies she was part of a struggle in that area. I'm going to have to keep these hairs, Nancy. Of course. Do you have anything else to share that would connect Nessa to Evan's kidnapping in areas other than the jetty? Yes or no? Footprints. Oh, I didn't, what? I tracked Nessa's shoe prints into the smokehouse. I think that's where she and Corvus temporarily detained Evan until they were ready to take him to the garnet mine. Do you have anything else that would share? I think there are almonds in the smokehouse, right? I discovered Nessa's fingerprint, right, on a Jordan almond fragment in the smokehouse, right on the candied shell. That's fantastic, Nancy. Our rangers saw those Jordan almond fingerprints and noted them down, but they clearly didn't look closely enough at them. I'll tell the team to take a second look. Terrific. I think that's all the information I have about Nessa in the areas around the jetty. Okay, let's move on. We believe Mr. Richards was being held in the largest smokehouse before being moved to the garnet mine. Did you find any evidence to support our theory regarding his unlawful confinement? Yes or no? Well, there was rope. There's cookie. There was cookie fragments. Okay, not cookie. What about rope? Yes, okay. I found rope fibers on the floor of the smokehouse. I believe he was tied up and then taken away later. Yes, Mr. Richards has said as much. Oh boy, I've been talking a lot. All the evidence we can gather will help us build a case against Nessa. How did you figure out that Mr. Richards was taken to the garnet mine? If you're not sure, you could say no or pass. This is the symbol. Mr. Richards had used the jam from the Jack's thumbprint cookies to draw a hidden symbol. The symbol was a red circle surrounded by a round red border. Red? It was raspberry jam. I smelled it. It smelled lovely. Gross. The symbol even resembled the thumbprint cookies, which I learned called Hallangrotta in Swedish. Hallangrotta means raspberry cave in English, and raspberry cave could be a garnet mine? Oh, and raspberry cave could be a garnet mine. Exactly. I'm glad everyone jumps to the same conclusions I did. Mr. Richards was talking about the garnet mines at the dinner on the night I arrived in Crimson. He said they'd been deserted for years. It was the perfect place for them to hide him. Mr. Richards told us that Nessa was attempting to intimidate him into signing a forged copy of his... Oh, fuck. This has got... whatever. Do you have any knowledge that might help us back this claim? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, I do. Interesting. What did you learn? One more answer will suffice. Almonds? Okay. Mr. Richards is allergic to almonds and has been since childhood. It was common knowledge, and Nessa brought Jordan almonds with her when she returned to the lodge. I found shattered pieces of German almonds in the smokehouse where I believe Mr. Richards was briefly held. I managed to recover one of Nessa's fingerprints from the remnants of the shiny candy shells. Stellar work, Nancy! Our investigative team didn't find that. What's more, there were more Jordan almonds pieces in the cavern where Nessa brought him. There's no doubt in my mind that Nessa brought the Jordan almonds to the lodge, knowing full well how dangerous they were to Mr. Richards. Maybe at first she only planned to intimidate him with them, but in the end, she was prevented from doing any worse. Let's move on to Corvus Shaw's role in Mr. Richards' kidnapping. Do you have any evidence that could connect us to Corvus to these crimes? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. One article at a time. So, button. I found this metal button, which I recovered from outside the smokehouse. And then... Okay, well, let's keep going. I observed Corvus wearing a striped vest with this exact type of button that very same night. If you examine Corvus' clothing, I'm sure you'll find that one of the buttons is missing on one of his vests. We did make a note of a missing button, and now we know what happened to it, you little crime scene tamperer, you. It's a very good piece of evidence, Nancy. May I have it? Of course. Do you have anything else? Anything else? Please continue. Say no, and I'll ask you another question. I'll say shoe prints. I found Corvus's shoe prints on the jetty and leading into the smokehouse. The shoe prints on the jetty must have been formed when he stepped into the spilt whiskey, and they were still wet. That suggests to me that he was either present during the abduction of Mr. Richards or soon after. Considering the scuff marks I saw on the jetty, Mr. Richards was dragged away with some force. I doubt Nessa, an elderly lady, could have dragged her brother away with that amount of force. That's terrific work, Nancy. Our investigators didn't see any shoe prints on the jetty. They must have dried up before we got there. But now that we know they're there, perhaps some forensic processes will help reveal them. I think Corvus's movements during that time are pretty clear. Very thorough of you. Every bit helps. I think that's all the information I have about connecting Corvus to the crimes against Mr. Richards. Oops, that's Nancy talking. I'm going to do a little voice-o-morphing here. Okay, let's move on. What about any lesser crimes? We suspect Corvus was brought to the lodge by Nessa to commit fraud. Do you know anything that would help us build that case? Yes or no? Fake report? Not sure if that's relevant in this instance. Fake will? Oh, I don't have proof about that. Okay, I didn't get the will. Oh, yeah, I saw the will, but I didn't get it. That's okay, we move on. Damn, okay, so that must have been what was in the briefcase. And what about Carl Leffler? Oh, and what about Carl Leffler? What can you tell me about him? Rangers apprehended him in the middle of a sabotage attempt on the Sioux Locks, so that's an open and shut case. We suspect this man, though this is where the fake report. You think you contribute to criminal activities, yes or no? Yes? What you discovered? Bridge? Or like, dynamite? I mean, Albert sabotaged the train bridge. Oh, look at her face. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. On the same strip of telegraph tape that revealed Albert's real name and next target for sabotage, it said, "Well done in crimson. I found a stick of dynamite under his bed. I think I rolled in when he was packing to hurriedly leave the lodge. On the way to the lodge on that first night of Crimson, Jack commented on how heavy Carl's set of luggage was. But most of Carl's luggage was dedicated to hauling explosives equipment, dynamite, and blasting caps. In fact, I found a tin of blasting caps that Carl left in the lodge, as well as a bullet. He was definitely up to no good. Outstanding! Very well done. Gee, thanks. Carl knew to store the dynamite separately from the blasting caps. He probably had training with explosives, or at least some prior knowledge. And I'm almost certain that if Rangers search the immediate area around the bridge, they will find discarded luggage, possibly part of the same set with explosives residue inside. This is very helpful information. We originally... God, I wish I hadn't given him this voice. I didn't know there'd be so much. Leffler to the bridge sabotage, but hadn't thought to search for luggage that matches the set he was carrying when we arrested him at the Sioux Locks. That would be a very compelling connection to make. We should find such an item. Should we find such an item? I'm getting lightheaded. Speaking of items, do you happen to have this give me the tape. I do. Here you go. Give the telegraph tape to Ranger Murdoch. Thanks, Nancy. Do you have the bullet you discovered? Absolutely. Here it is. You hand the bullet to Ranger Murdoch. Thanks, Nancy. That's the only way he says it. If you have something else you'd like to tell me about Leffler, just say so. Or say no, and I'll ask about something else. Reports. Now I'll bring up the report. I revealed indentations of what was written on the papers that were on top of these ones. Both were mineralogical reports by Albert, only... breathe. One said there were diamonds in Crimson, and the other said there were none. Why would that be? I suspect Albert wasn't actually a mineralogist at all, and that neither report is valid. He was scamming Nathan and Nessa. Carl, I mean. I'm sorry, it's hard to keep everything straight. That's okay, Nancy. You're doing great. I saw Carl, hand a manila envelope to Nessa during a meeting in the gazebo. She paid him handsomely for it. She said she'd paid for a report that says there are diamonds in Crimson. He said the report would make her rich, which it certainly would have. I bet she entrusted this field report to Corvus for safekeeping. I was a witness to a secret meeting in the boathouse between Nathan and Albert. I clearly held Albert say the contents of the Albert report. Okay, I've been through this and I'm running out of throat. I wish I hadn't said the sentence, I'm running out of throat. Nathan paid him for this version of the field report. My theory is that Albert was scamming Nathan and Nessa. He figured he could make some quick money off for the both of them. He wasn't seriously conducting field work. He didn't even know how. How do fucking voice actors do this for 4 hours at a time? I don't fucking wanna. I don't wanna. I can make silly voices, but man, do I not have the stamina for this. And he knew he'd be... I bumped the microphone. Fuck, man. Disaster. And he knew he'd be kilometers away from before either Nessa or Nevin found out. I'm so tired. Would you like to take these crumpled papers into evidence? Yes, indeed. Okay, cool. I'll give him the papers. If you have something else, just say no. I'm done. No. Get me out of here. I'm afraid not. Okay, moving on. I think that just about... Yes, we're done. You've been helpful, Nancy. I appreciate everything you shared with me today. You've got a keen eye and an even keener mind. Well done. Ah, gee, I'm happy to help. Good night, Nancy. Good night. Okay. I can breathe. You head home after completing your interview with Ranger Murdoch and immediately set to work on your field report for Crimson. You write at length about the samples you've obtained at the observations you've made, though you such as that there are diamonds in Crimson. Professor Plummer proves to be an enthusiastic and patient mentor, despite his mild disappointment at the unremarkable findings. Every fucking thing is so exhausting. I'm so tired. You impressed him with your attention to detail and hard work. Together you produce an impeccable field report that is published by the Royal Canadian Museum and eventually endorsed by the we lied. A real feather in your cap. Weeks pass, soon you're immersed in your regular life. Expert in the filing system and even suggest some ways to improve it. Find yourself missing the fresh air, the roaring waterfalls, and the rushing rivers of Crimson. You wonder if you'll ever hear about how things are going up there. Until one day... God there's so much cutscene. They put so much work into this. There you are, Nancy. Thought today's newspaper might be of interest to you. Oh, hell yeah. Start reading the newspaper. Largest article is about Nessa Crab. She considered the fugitive wanted in connection to her brother's kidnapping and attempted fraud. You're relieved to see no mention of Crimson anywhere, not even the smallest news items. You figure no news is good news. There's no mention at all about Albert's or Carl's attempt to sabotage about Sue locks. Only that there will be minor delays due to routine maintenance. They probably want to make sure there aren't any more explosive devices in or around the locks. Had Albert succeeded, you should have to think of it. You skim the rest of the newspaper, but nothing else catches your eye. That's a relief, I suppose. Okay, well, I guess I'm out. Too bad about the whole diamond fiasco, eh, Nancy? We both knew it was a long shot. Good work today, kiddo. See you tomorrow, bright and early. Yes, sir. You start the long walk home. You're relieved that Crimson won't become an open pit mine, and that Kimmy and her Cormorants are safe and happy. Who's this? Mom? Is that Nessa? That looks like her dress. Hi, Nancy. Another late night, eh? I got a bit of stew saved for you. Keep it nice and warm on the stove. Thanks, Mrs. Williams. I'm starving. Go on in, lass. I'll serve it up. I'll be down in a bit. Okay, lass. Take your time. Mrs. Williams ladles a hearty bowl of stew and slices a bit of bread for you. The food is delicious and warms you to the bone. She sits with you, and the two of you chat about the goings-on in the neighborhood. You're grateful she rents you a room so cheaply. Museum clerks don't get paid very much. Once your belly is full and Mrs. Williams has washed the bowl, she waves you away from these menial tasks. You step lightly upstairs lest you wake the other lodgers. You fall asleep as your head hits the pillow. You're exhausted and tomorrow will be another exhausting day. Nice. But every exhausting day is another step closer to making your dreams come true. Well done, Nancy. This is great. Yay! You did a good job with sussing out the motives and actions of the other guests, but you missed the mark on a few things. All right. 17 out of 24. Oops. Could have been more helpful. 13 out of 19. Jesus. Parting of Margot's death, but you did your best. 0. Oops. Tried and found guilty. Okay, he was incarcerated. Okay, great. 12 died till his death. 12 years later, heart attack. Okay, I guess maybe we won't see more of him. She's just tying everything up. Sulaks were patrolled northwest Mountain Police for Great War, and other sabotage attempts were made. Canadian supply lines along the Great Waterways. All right, whatever. They're good. Coruscant was found guilty of having accomplice in Evan's kidnapping. He was disbarred and served 3 years in a medium security prison. He became hardened by his prison experiences and fell with the wrong crowds. Spent the rest of his years in and out of correctional facilities for various white-collar crimes. Oh. Margot was laid to rest in Crimson's lushly overgrown cemetery and in formal service attended by Jack, Nathan, and Kimmy. You wish she'd been able to make Nessa's face justice for Margot's murder, but at least Margot was at rest where she was loved. Kimi Kishiro stayed on at the lodge until after the autumn migration of the birds, when she returned to Vancouver to be with her family. From then on, she'd visited Crimson for the spring and autumn migrations, as well as the Cormorant's nesting season every summer. Jack remained at the lodge, continuing to take care of it after Evan legally transferred the lodge and lands to Nathan Cardinal and his family. Nice! When Jack became old and creaky, the Cardinals in turn took care of him. Nathan Cardinal and Evan Richards arranged the transfer of the lodge and the lands to the Cardinal family, effective immediately. Considering recent events, they agreed it was a good idea. The secret of the Crimson Diamonds remained hidden. Nessa Krabs was never seen again. It could be that she never made it out of the mine or that she kept a low profile after her escape. Because of the relatively minor nature of her criminal charges, she wasn't considered a priority to apprehend, and a full-scale woman hunt was never conducted by the authorities. It rankles you that she got away with at least one murder. You find yourself looking over your shoulder often, and you still see her vengeful, firelit face in your nightmares. Jesus. Evan Richards lived the rest of his days in his beloved lodge, but he was always feared that Nessa was lurking in the woods, staring into the windows at night. Oh, I'm sorry. Kept the camera firmly shut. Went early outside, drank a lot to cope. Jesus. Everyone was buried alongside Margot and his parents in Crimson, which is exactly what he wanted. You wish you could have done more to help him. You have had many sleepless nights over the fact that not only Nessa got away, but you weren't able to prove that you murdered Margot. Okay, fucking whatever, game. Give me a break. Month later, you accepted the University of Toronto. Nice. Spoke highly of your field work. Although your findings weren't revolutionary, he tells you that impeccable work, regardless of the result, the bedrock of any scientific discipline. Very proud of you. You receive a letter from Ranger Murdoch praising your investigative prowess and tenacity to help foil a sabotage attempt at Sulaks. Okay, so I did the main plot, just not most of it. Thanks for playing. All right. Oops. Oh well. I did it. He did the music on a real Roland MT32. That's good music. It's good tunes, Brent. Indigenous sensitivity consultant. Nice. This game was very good. I had a little bit of issue with it, as you saw. Over Christ, I'm so done. Over some of the art kind of being hard to discern, but that's just the limitations of this. Okay. I'm gonna move forward. Good job. I really appreciate this game. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to cover. It's gonna maybe be a while before I do another voice acting thing. I've just been exhausted and not wanting to do a lot of that work. I'll do a different kind of video. I got a different kind of video planned next, but thank you so much for sticking around, and thank you to Julia Minamata for making this game. And I hope you have a blessed rest of your year, or whenever the heck you're watching this. Okay, bye!